Over 1 in 4 people in the UK are struggling with their mental health, yet most never talk about it. Not because they don't want to, but because they feel they can't. On the surface, everything looks normal: jobs, routines, social media smiles. But behind closed doors, a very different story is unfolding. What if the real crisis isn't what you see, but what's being quietly hidden? Stress, loneliness, exhaustion, building up silently, day after day. And the scariest part? Most people don't even realize what's really causing it. In this video, we're uncovering 10 shocking reasons why millions of Brits are struggling in silence, and what you can actually do to break free before it gets worse. Number 1. The silent mental health crisis. Across the UK, millions of people are dealing with anxiety, stress, and depression. But you wouldn't know it just by looking at them. They show up to work, reply to messages, and carry on with daily life, all while feeling completely overwhelmed inside. This is what makes it so dangerous. It's invisible. According to multiple studies, a large number of people avoid seeking help due to fear of judgment, embarrassment, or simply believing they should handle it alone. But here's the truth. Ignoring mental health doesn't make it go away. It actually makes it worse. When stress builds up over time, it begins to affect your sleep, energy, focus, and even physical health. You may feel constantly tired, lose motivation, or find it hard to enjoy things you once loved. And because it happens gradually, many people don't even realize how deeply it's affecting them. So what can you do? Start small. One of the most effective steps is a simple daily check-in with yourself. Take just 5 minutes to pause and ask, how am I really feeling today? Write it down if you can. This helps you become more aware of your emotions instead of suppressing them. You can also talk to someone you trust. Even a short conversation can release a huge mental burden. Remember, taking care of your mind isn't weakness, it's strength. And the sooner you start, the easier it becomes to regain control. Number 2. The cost of living pressure. For millions across the UK, the rising cost of living isn't just about higher prices. It's about a constant, quiet pressure that never really goes away. Groceries cost more, energy bills keep climbing, and even basic necessities feel harder to afford. But what many people don't talk about is the mental toll this creates. It's not just financial, it's emotional. That lingering thought in the back of your mind, am I going to be okay next month? This kind of stress doesn't switch off. It follows people everywhere, into work, into sleep, even into moments that are supposed to be relaxing. Over time, it can lead to chronic anxiety, irritability, and a feeling of being completely stuck. And because everyone around seems to be managing somehow, many suffer in silence, believing they're the only ones struggling to keep up. But here's something important. You don't need to fix everything at once. One practical approach is micro-budgeting. Instead of tracking every single expense, focus on just 3 key areas: essentials, savings, and flexible spending. This simplifies decision-making and gives you a clearer sense of control. Even small adjustments can reduce that overwhelming feeling. You can also create a weekly money check-in, just 10 minutes to review where you stand. It may not solve everything overnight, but it replaces uncertainty with clarity. And that alone can ease a huge amount of stress. Because sometimes it's not the lack of money that breaks people, it's the constant worry about it. Be honest. What's one expense that's been stressing you out lately? Drop it in the comments. And if you value the effort we put into bringing you real, helpful content, hit subscribe. It's just one click, but it helps us keep going. Number 3. Social isolation disguised as independence. On the surface, modern life looks more independent than ever. People have their own spaces, flexible routines, and the freedom to live life on their own terms. But beneath that independence, something much quieter is growing: isolation. More people are living alone, working remotely, and spending long hours without meaningful human interaction. And while it may feel normal, the impact can be deeper than most realize. Humans are wired for connection. Studies have shown that long-term loneliness can affect your health as much as smoking or poor diet. It slowly drains your energy, mood, and sense of belonging. You might not even label it as loneliness, just a feeling of emptiness, disconnection, or being off. And because society often praises independence, many people ignore this need for connection, convincing themselves they are fine. The problem is, isolation doesn't always feel dramatic, it's subtle. Fewer conversations, fewer shared moments, fewer people who truly understand how you're feeling. Over time, this can lead to low motivation, sadness, and even anxiety in social situations, making it even harder to reconnect. So what's the solution? Start small and intentional. Schedule at least one real interaction each week. Not just texting, but actual conversation. It could be a coffee with a friend, a phone call, or even joining a local group. The key is consistency. Even short, genuine interactions can rebuild that sense of connection. Because independence is powerful, but without connection, it can quietly turn into loneliness. Number 4. Digital overload and dopamine burnout. Every day, the average person spends hours scrolling, jumping from videos to messages to endless updates. It feels harmless, even relaxing. But what most people don't realize is that this constant stimulation is quietly rewiring your brain. Each notification, like, and swipe gives you a small hit of dopamine, the chemical linked to pleasure and motivation. Over time, your brain starts to expect this constant flow. The problem? Real life can't compete. Simple tasks, like reading, working, or even having a conversation, begin to feel boring and exhausting. This is what experts call dopamine burnout. You're not lazy, and you're not unmotivated. Your brain is just overwhelmed. And the more you scroll, the worse it gets. You end up stuck in a loop, feeling tired, reaching for your phone, and draining your energy even further. What makes this even more dangerous is how normalized it has become. Everyone is doing it, so it doesn't feel like a problem. But deep down, many people feel mentally scattered, unable to focus, and strangely unsatisfied, even after hours of entertainment. So how do you fix it? You don't need to quit everything. Start with a simple dopamine reset. Set aside just 1 to 2 hours a day with no screens, no phone, no social media. Use that time for something slower and real, a walk, reading, or even just sitting with your thoughts. At first, it may feel uncomfortable, but that's a sign your brain is recalibrating. Because sometimes the biggest drain on your energy is the thing you thought was helping you relax. Be honest. How many hours do you think you spend scrolling every day? Drop your guess in the comments. And if this opened your eyes, subscribe. It's just one click, but it helps us keep creating meaningful content like this. Number 5. Job insecurity and career uncertainty. For many people today, work no longer feels stable, it feels uncertain. Even those with jobs often carry a quiet fear in the background. What if this doesn't last? With the rise of short-term contracts, gig work, and rapidly changing industries, the idea of a secure, long-term career is slowly fading. And this constant uncertainty creates a deep sense of stress and pressure that people rarely talk about. It's not just about losing a job, it's the fear of falling behind, of not being skilled enough, or of being replaced. Technology is evolving fast, and many feel like they're struggling to keep up. This can lead to self-doubt, overworking, and even burnout, as people try to prove their worth or stay relevant. And when your sense of stability is tied to your career, even small changes can feel overwhelming. The hardest part? There's no clear roadmap anymore. What worked 5 years ago may not work today. That's why so many people feel stuck, working hard, but unsure if it's leading anywhere meaningful. So what can you do? Instead of trying to control everything, focus on building adaptability. Choose one valuable skill that will stay relevant, like communication, problem solving, or learning how to use new technologies, and improve it consistently. Even 20 to 30 minutes a day can make a difference over time. You can also shift your mindset from job security to skill security. Because in today's world, it's not the job that keeps you safe. It's what you can do. Number 6. The sleep deprivation epidemic. Millions of people are walking around every day completely exhausted, and they don't even realize how serious it is. Late nights, early mornings, and constant screen exposure have quietly created a sleep deprivation epidemic. You might think losing a few hours of sleep isn't a big deal, but over time, it affects almost every part of your life: your mood, focus, memory, and even your physical health. What makes this worse is how normalized it has become. People brag about being busy, staying up late, and running on minimal sleep. But behind that hustle is a body and mind that are slowly burning out. Poor sleep increases stress hormones, weakens your immune system, and makes even simple tasks feel overwhelming. You may feel irritated for no reason, struggle to concentrate, or rely heavily on caffeine just to get through the day. And then there's the biggest hidden factor: your phone. Scrolling late at night tricks your brain into staying alert, delaying the natural sleep cycle. Before you know it, hours are gone, and your body never gets the deep rest it needs. So what can you do? Start with a simple wind-down routine. Set a fixed time each night to disconnect from screens, ideally 30 to 60 minutes before bed. Dim the lights, avoid heavy mental stimulation, and allow your brain to slow down naturally. Even small changes can improve sleep quality dramatically. Because when you fix your sleep, you don't just feel better, you function better, think clearer, and handle life with more energy. Be honest. What time did you go to sleep last night? Drop it in the comments. No judgment. And if you value the effort behind these videos, subscribe. It's just one click, but it keeps this content coming. Number 7. Comparison culture is quietly destroying confidence. Every day, people scroll through perfectly curated lives, luxury trips, career wins, flawless routines, and without realizing it, they start to compare. It happens instantly and subconsciously. You look at someone else's highlight reel, and suddenly your own life feels not enough. This is what's known as comparison culture, and it's one of the most damaging yet overlooked struggles today. The problem is, what you're seeing isn't reality. It's a carefully edited version of it. People rarely show their struggles, failures, or doubts. But your brain doesn't filter that. Instead, it starts creating a false narrative. Everyone else is ahead. I'm falling behind. Over time, this leads to low self-esteem, anxiety, and constant dissatisfaction, even if your life is actually going well. What makes this even more dangerous is how often it happens. A few minutes of scrolling can quietly shift your mood, drain your motivation, and make you question your progress. And the more you consume this content, the deeper that feeling of inadequacy grows. So how do you break out of it? Start by becoming aware of what you're consuming. Unfollow accounts that make you feel worse about yourself and replace them with ones that are real, honest, and uplifting. You can also set limits on your social media use, because less exposure means fewer comparisons. Most importantly, remind yourself, you're not behind, you're on a different path. Real growth isn't about keeping up with others, it's about moving forward in your own direction. Number 8. Lack of purpose and direction. One of the most overlooked struggles today isn't money, work, or even relationships. It's the quiet feeling of having no clear purpose. You wake up, go through your routine, complete your tasks, but deep down, something feels missing. It's not dramatic, it's not obvious, but it's there. A sense of being stuck, like you're moving but not really going anywhere. This feeling often builds slowly. Life becomes a cycle of responsibilities without meaning. And when people don't feel a sense of direction, it can lead to low motivation, frustration, and even emotional emptiness. You may start questioning yourself. What am I actually working toward? Or why does everything feel so repetitive? The truth is, humans are wired to seek meaning, not just survival. Without it, even success can feel unfulfilling. You could have a stable job, a comfortable life, and still feel lost. And because it's hard to explain, many people keep it to themselves. So what can you do? You don't need to figure out your entire life overnight. Start small. Ask yourself one simple question. What makes me feel useful or fulfilled? It could be helping others, creating something, learning a new skill, or even solving problems. Then take one small step toward that. Just one. Purpose isn't something you suddenly find. It's something you build over time. And even the smallest step in the right direction can begin to bring clarity back into your life. What's one thing that makes you feel truly fulfilled? Share it below. We'd love to know. And if you appreciate the effort we put into these videos, subscribe. It's just one click, but it keeps us going. Number 9. Hidden physical health decline. There's a quiet shift happening in everyday life, and most people don't notice it until it's too late. Modern routines have become increasingly sedentary. Long hours sitting, minimal movement, processed foods, and constant screen time are slowly leading to a decline in physical health. But the real issue isn't just weight or fitness. It's how this affects your energy, mood, and overall well-being. You might feel tired even after resting, sluggish during the day, or mentally foggy without knowing why. That's because your body isn't getting what it needs to function properly. Research shows that lack of movement can reduce blood flow, oxygen levels, and even brain performance. Over time, this doesn't just affect your body, it impacts your motivation, confidence, and mental clarity. What makes it dangerous is how normal it feels. Sitting for hours has become part of work, entertainment, and even social life. And since the effects build slowly, people often ignore the early warning signs: low energy, stiffness, or lack of focus. But the solution doesn't have to be extreme. You don't need intense workouts or drastic changes. Start with something simple: 10 minutes of movement every day. A short walk, light stretching, or even basic exercises at home can begin to restore your energy levels. The key is consistency, not intensity. Because when your body starts to feel better, everything else follows. Your mind becomes clearer, your mood improves, and life feels just a little easier to handle. Number 10. Emotional suppression culture. In many parts of society, there's an unspoken rule: stay strong, don't complain, keep going. Especially in fast-paced environments, people are expected to push through stress, ignore emotions, and carry on as if everything is fine. But over time, this creates a dangerous habit: emotional suppression. Instead of dealing with feelings, people bury them. At first, it might seem like strength. You stay quiet, avoid conflict, and keep functioning. But emotions don't disappear. They build up beneath the surface. This can lead to sudden burnout, frustration, anxiety, or even emotional breakdowns. You may find yourself reacting strongly to small things or feeling overwhelmed without fully understanding why. What makes this struggle even harder is that many people don't feel safe expressing how they truly feel. They worry about being judged, misunderstood, or seen as weak. So they keep everything inside, wearing a mask while internally dealing with pressure that keeps growing. The truth is, expressing emotions isn't weakness. It's healthy and necessary. One simple step is to create space for honest conversations. Talk to someone you trust, a friend, family member, or even write your thoughts down if speaking feels difficult. Putting feelings into words helps release that internal pressure. You can also practice identifying your emotions during the day. Instead of ignoring them, pause and ask, what am I actually feeling right now? This small habit can make a big difference over time, because the more you suppress your emotions, the heavier they become. But when you face them, you begin to feel lighter, clearer, and more in control. When was the last time you openly expressed how you really feel? Share honestly in the comments. And if you appreciate the effort we put into these videos, subscribe. It's just one click, but it truly supports us. When you step back and look at everything we've discussed, a powerful truth becomes clear. These struggles are not isolated. They're connected. The stress, the isolation, the lack of sleep, the constant pressure, they build on each other, creating a cycle that quietly affects millions of people every single day. And the hardest part, most people think they're alone in this. They believe it's just their problem, their weakness, their failure. But it's not. These are shared experiences, shaped by the way modern life is designed. Once you recognize that, something shifts. You stop blaming yourself and start understanding what's really happening. The good news is, change doesn't require a complete life overhaul. It starts with small, intentional steps. Becoming aware of your habits, Making simple adjustments and taking care of your mental, emotional, and physical health can gradually break that cycle. Even the smallest action, getting better sleep, reaching out to someone, limiting screen time, can create a ripple effect. So as you finish this video, take a moment and ask yourself, which of these struggles am I facing right now? Because awareness is the first step toward real change. And once you see it clearly, you're already moving in the right direction.